Hi everybody, I am No BS and I am 11 weeks post-op. I know it's been a really long time since I've made a video. I actually tried to make a video a few weeks ago, but for some reason it didn't record right. So I set it to private. Some people noticed that because I couldn't figure out how to delete it for some reason. Anyway, I am currently, I'm bringing up my little spreadsheet with my weight loss on it. I currently weigh 168.5 pounds. My shirt size is a 10 and my pant size is a 12. You can get my full list of stats week by week in the description of this video. I started off at 198.9 pounds with a size 16 shirt and a size 20 jeans. So in less than 3 months I've gone from a size 16 to, not size 16, but a size 20 in jeans to a size 12, which is pretty phenomenal. I just got into a 12, actually this past week. My hips were finally small enough. So that was really exciting stuff for me because I am one size away from being the size I was at my smallest when I was in my early 20s. So I'm getting pretty close there. Having said that, I still have a lot of excess skin. I keep talking to the surgeon and his assistants about this, and he says that since it's so early out, I shouldn't worry about it, that the fluff is going to go away, that usually you lose a lot of weight, you lose a lot of inches, whatever, but your body is still really fluffy, and I can just kind of show you what I'm talking about, because I have, my arm's pretty saggy. It's not as saggy as it was in the last video where I was going to show you, but, and my stomach too is pretty fluffy. I actually talked to the doctor about that because I was worried I had these, it felt like bubbles underneath my skin, and I was worried that I had some type of like a surgical emphysema, but apparently that's kind of normal. It's just the fat, and you're gonna feel lumpy after you lose a bunch of weight really quickly. Since I haven't made a video in a while, I've got a lot to discuss. I'm going to try to get it all in the next 15 minutes. Obviously, I haven't been very consistent with my videos, so I'm not sure if I'm going to post one next week or not. The main reason I haven't been posting them is because I'm really active now. I go out a lot, and by the time I get home in the afternoons, I'm really tired, and sometimes I just don't feel like making a video. So that's one reason why I haven't made a video aside from just being lazy. Vitamins. I've been asked about vitamins. I have tried kind of a variety. I've tried the bariatric bandage chewables, I've tried their capsules, and now I have the Thorn capsules. And the capsules are really big. I have a really hard time swallowing them, and I really loathe the taste of the bariatric advantage chewables right now. You can go on Amazon, and there's a whole plethora of bariatric vitamins that you can order offline, and that's probably where I'm going to go next, because what I've been doing is if I can't swallow one of the capsules because it's just too big and I can't get it down, I'll take a children's chewable multivitamin with iron instead. That does not have everything that I need, but it's better than not taking anything, and I'm trying to stay on top of my vitamins. I actually just got my blood work back, my first set of blood work, and I'm no longer hypoglycemic. My thyroid problems went away. I think I have a gluten allergy, which is what upsets my thyroid. So I think as long as I don't have gluten, my thyroid is going to stay in check. I knew about that before the surgery. They had thought that maybe I had a gluten allergy, but it's really hard to stay away from gluten. But anyway, all my labs came out okay, which I was really surprised about because I had a lot of days where I was just really fatigued and my throat felt swollen, and there was just things going wrong that made me say, hey, something is wrong with me. But apparently I was okay. So that's my thing on vitamins. Even if you can't get down the bariatrics, whatever, just take something. I mean, anything is better than nothing. But you really should be on the bariatric vitamins. Like I said, I'm going to continue my journey, and if I find a really great bariatric vitamin, I will recommend it in one of my videos. But as of right now, I'm stocked up on bariatric vitamins for about a year, so I really want to try to get through that before I buy more and experiment with more. So dealing with stress has been a really big deal for me. I actually have an appointment with a psychologist next week because it got really bad, and it was a collection of a lot of things. For 2 weeks, I was really depressed, more depressed than I've been since I was probably a teenager and going through a bunch of hormonal changes. So coping is different after you've had the surgery. Of course, you can't turn to food like you did before. So you look for different ways to release your stress. And one of the things I've turned to, and I wasn't bad about it prior to getting down to a smaller size, but shopping. I would say that I don't want to say that I have a shopping addiction because it's really just started. I mean, this past month I probably spent about $1,500 on clothes, which is a lot. But now I can actually go into stores and shop, which is something I couldn't do before. And that feeling is absolutely euphoric. When you get there, if you've had the surgery, it's really hard not to want to buy everything that fits and looks good on you, because once you get to, into the 12s and even the 14s, I was kind of doing a little bit, but not as bad as I am now. Now that I'm a 12, and I'm sure when I get to be a 10, it's just really nice to be able to go into stores and see cute things on the rack and actually be able to find your size and not be limited to shopping at Lane Bryant or Torrid's or somewhere like that, and actually being able to buy cute bras and stuff like that. So I have shopped a lot. I've bought way more clothes than I could ever possibly need, more stuff that I'm probably going to wear. But for me, especially during that 2-week period where I was just almost suicidally depressed every single day, I would go out, and shopping was kind of my thing. I would go out and just shop for makeup. I'd shop for clothes. Not really any shoe shopping, but I don't know. It kind of helped me through that. Another thing I tried is exercising, but I actually hurt myself because I was really upset, and I just, was trying to get away from my problems. So I went outside and I ran for an hour, and not jogging. I mean, I mentioned in another video that I've been doing 5Ks, but I wasn't really jogging. I mean, I was running as hard as I could, as fast as I could, until I was in pain, and then I would stop, and as soon as the pain would go away, I would do it again. And after I did that, I came home and I lifted weights for about an hour, and it wasn't like an exercise video like I usually would. I mean, I got on the floor and I did as many push-ups as I could until I couldn't move, and then I turned over and did as many crunches as I could until I couldn't move, and then I lifted, I did a bunch of bicep curls, and I did a bunch of lunges, and I took it to the excess, and I made myself sick. And by made myself sick, I mean I literally ended up running a fever about 2 days later, and I was sick for about 3 days after that. So you've got to be careful with anything you're going to do in excess. I mean, obviously shopping, you can blow through money you don't have. Luckily, I make a lot of money, so that was bad, but still, I didn't have to put anything on credit. Exercising, you can make yourself sick if you go too hard. So there's definitely a limit to everything that you should do. And it's still something I'm trying to work out. Right now, I think probably my best options would be just watching TV, even though sitting on your ass isn't very good either, or playing video games. But I need to do something that's not going to drain my bank account and make me sick. So I'm definitely going to talk to the psychologist about that, and maybe I'll post a video after that saying what she said, because this has been a really big issue for me. On that note, I went on vacation to Albuquerque to visit a friend a few weeks ago, and up until that point, my diet was perfect, or as close to perfect as somebody that has had the surgery could get. I mean, I did no carbs. I tried alcohol like once, but it made me sick, so I didn't go back to it. But while I was on vacation, I broke every single one of the rules, and I did not get sick, and that was really bad because I realized that I can now tolerate everything that I could tolerate prior to the surgery, and that made all my cravings come back about tenfold. Also, my capacity for eating is pretty big, like my stomach capacity. I can probably take in about 1.5 cups of food, and I don't think that's normal. I have an aunt and a cousin who had this surgery done 3 years ago, and they can still both only eat about 1/2 cup of food at a time. So when I got back from vacation, I had a really hard time readjusting to the diet. I was eating in excess. I was eating all the wrong foods because I knew that I could handle them. Where before I was like, if I eat this, I'm probably going to get sick. Now that doesn't apply anymore. So that was a big part of my depression, because I was like, all right, now I'm back to square one. I'm back to how things were before I had the surgery, when I have to completely rely on my own willpower to make this work. And it's kind of scary, but it's not quite back to that point, because I do still have a little bit of restriction on my stomach, but I actually have to put in work now. I think in the previous video I said this was the easiest thing I ever did. It was the easiest thing for about the first 2 months, and now it's actually taking a lot of work. So I wasn't expecting that to happen this quickly. I think people usually are able to tolerate everything at 6 months, so I'm kind of, my stomach can kind of handle things a little bit earlier than I would have liked. So the last thing I want to, well, I should probably say that I have gotten back on track pretty well. What I did is, I still eat out. I don't want to say I still eat all the wrong things. I try not to, but I do eat some of the wrong things. I don't really eat too much fried food, but I've had pasta. I try to stay away from bread, but there's some things that I go ahead and I allow myself to have, but I've cut down my eating to 1 to 2 meals a day to compensate for the amount of calories that I'm starting to take in per meal. And that's actually helped my meal level off and still lose weight. 'Cause for a while I wasn't losing weight because I was just eating bad. I was eating my 3 meals a day, and they were 3 bad meals. But now that I've cut down the amount of times that I eat a day, it's okay. You know, I'm still losing weight, and my surgeon wasn't as pissed off at me about that as I thought, and doesn't really care that I'm only eating once a day. So I'm gonna try to eat better, but at the same time, I'm not gonna beat myself up like I was. As long as I can keep everything under control, I think I'll be okay. I've only got like 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna talk about dating. Has been a thing that I've been trying now, and it's so much different when you're big than when you lose all the weight. And you realize what a shallow world it was before. When I was big, like a size 20, and I tried dating, I could go out with some of the like ugliest, most not desirable men on the face of the planet, and they would think that I was, you know, and they weren't interested in me. They thought I was, you know, they never directly came out and said it, but you know, you never got the second date. And now that I'm a size 12, guys are just, I don't want to say they're all over me, but I definitely have more options than I did before. And I don't know, it's really kind of changed my perspective on things. One, I think, I don't want to say all guys are assholes, but I have been used once since I have tried getting into the dating game again, and that kind of hurt. And I don't know, it just makes me really realize how superficial of a world it is. I realized that, I knew that before, but now that I'm smaller, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of, I'm sorry, I've got a cough. It's kind of really sunk in that people judge a book by its cover. It's sad, you know, everybody tries to tout the whole personality, you know, trumps everything, but that's bullshit. People judge you based on how you look. People are attracted to you based on how you look, and it's hurtful, but it really makes you think about it, if you're single, how you want to date going forward, because yeah, and one false, I don't want to be shallow, but at the same time, I put a lot of money and time and effort into looking like this, and I kind of want to be picky now. So that's been different. But it's something you'll have to think about, especially if you're a single person, whenever you get the surgery too, how you're going to approach dating, how you're going to handle men treating you differently. I mean, they're like they're super aggressive, which is it's interesting, but it's also kind of annoying and daunting. Anyway, that is my spiel for this time around, and I'm hoping I can make videos more consistently. I don't want to promise anything because I know the way I am. But anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you. Everybody have a good day, a good week, a good night, whatever time it is when you're watching this, and I will talk to you later.